Fed up of floor robes, driven to distraction and drowning with doom boxes? Tired of living in chaos? Welcome to Decluttering Untangled, how to declutter when you're overwhelmed, ADHD or autistic. I'm going to help you uncover the secrets to decluttering, no matter what hurdles you face. You'll discover how to declutter, de-stress and transform your world. I'm Heather Tingle, reformed hoarder, neurodivergent declutter queen, and your guide through the maze of mess. Let's get untangled. Hello Untanglers, and welcome to another episode of Decluttering Untangled with me, your host, Heather Tingle. In today's episode, I'm going to be a little bit random, and it's going to be a relatively short episode as it's about a very specific type of thing. And the reason why I'm talking you through it today is because over the past 2 weeks with clients, this is an item that has come up through 3 different times. And I am sure this item will probably be in your home somewhere too. And that is christening gifts or baptism gifts. Or if you weren't christened or baptised, it might be newborn baby gifts. Apparently, the giving of christening gifts was started with a silver coin to symbolise good luck and prosperity. And it also was a practical way to give financial assistance. Now, I personally think that is a much better idea than what we do now. I think we ought to do that now by giving money for like a pension pot as a gift, to be honest. I think that would save a lot of problems in the future. But this item at the moment comes under the sentimental category, not the finances category. And the sentimental category is something that when you're decluttering, you always leave it until last because you need time to go through the decluttering process with other items before you get to something that you're more emotionally attached to. Now, you're probably not at the sentimental decluttering category yet, but what I'm going to do today is just give you a few things to consider and think over and mooch about in your brain, so by the time you get to sentimental items, you are ready for them. Right, okay, so first of all, I want you to consider that although these items are sentimental, is it actually sentimental for you? So if it was your christening gift, it's been in your parents' chest of drawers while you're growing up, and then when you moved out, it ended up under your bed for 40 years and you've rarely even looked at it, are you actually sentimentally attached to it? Or are you just feeling the obligation of sentimentality? So are you feeling obligated to keep it, either because it was a gift or because it was expensive at the time or because you've kept it for many years? So just because you've had something for a long period of time does not mean you have to be sentimental about it. They are all obligations. They're not your own sentimentality. They're not your own connection to that item. So if they've rarely been looked at and you are just keeping them, that all that happens is the box of obligation just gets passed on to the next person. And that is not what we want. What you do want is a more meaningful sentimental value. So for example, that silver spoon or egg cup or the Peter Rabbit china actually being used and enjoyed. Or if it's not actually used, it's around the home and you get that attachment through it being used and around, so you create a link to it. And I think it's important to recognise that having an items in a loft or under the bed, it is still taking up valuable space in your home. We tend to forget that it's still a space in our home as we don't see it every day. But all spaces count when it comes to your home. So I really want you to look at these items and consider, are you keeping them out of obligation and guilt, or because you actually want them and you want to keep them? Can they be moved to be enjoyed in an easier or more accessible way? So for example, can you actually actively use them? That porcelain plate, can you use it for your Sunday morning toast? If they can't be used, can they be repurposed in some way? So, for example, I've seen some fabulous spoons being turned into rings and bracelets. Egg cups I've seen used for putting daily medication in or used as an earring store. And I've seen silver baby rattles being used as paperweights. So can you repurpose them for other items in your home? And if you do want to let them go and you feel that now is the time, can they be donated to a family member that will appreciate them, but don't just pass them on to a family member to make it feel acceptable, and don't pass that burden on? Or can you send them to charity, or can you sell them? Things that were bought in the past that were probably quite expensive does not necessarily mean that they will be expensive today. A lot of things like that were silver plated and they are not really valuable. You will probably think they're more valuable than what they actually are. But, if you want to sell them, go to your local auction house and ask for a valuation. I think the main thing to remember, though, is with all gifts, it's that they were meant to be enjoyed and treasured. And if that is not happening, first of all, it is not your fault. There is nothing wrong with you that you do not treasure them. There is nothing wrong with you that you've not enjoyed them. You were just passed on a burden, really. And it is of that time, like the age when I was brought up, that was the gifts we were given. We were told that we couldn't touch them, that they were precious, and you need to keep them secure and safe, and that meant not using them. That's okay. That's not your fault. So it is okay to let them go, as no one gives a gift and wants it to be a burden at all. So we have to think about that as you declutter. And when you get to sentimental items, you are already halfway there. So there you go. I told you it was going to be a short but sweet one today. So I hope that's given you some things to think about. So remember, until next time, be kind to yourself. Remember, you are not alone, and keep untangling. Thanks for joining me for today's episode of Decluttering Untangled. If you found anything that I've said today helpful, please do me a favour, hit that subscribe button or leave me a review. It's like receiving a virtual high five that keeps me going and lets me know that I'm helping real people out there and I'm making a difference. Please remember, you're not alone in this. I'm building a community of fellow untanglers over on Facebook. Just visit the show notes for the link to my free decluttering community. So until next time, remember, you're not alone, you're not lazy, you can untangle your life.